Thank everyone again for coming. I'm Mark's brother Bruce, and Mark, I am proud to be a part of this small army that you've assembled here that you call a wedding party. I don't know if you guys saw on the way in, the table we're supposed to sit at in the other tent tomorrow, but it looks like something out of Game of Thrones. So if you each called 2 more people, we would probably have enough here for our own Royal Rumble. But it's not about quantity, it's also about quality. And after attending the bachelor party last month, I was reminded of the quality of the friends that Mark has in his life. And that says a lot about a man. So how to define a guy like Mark? He's a loving brother, son, and uncle. He's a cherished cousin and nephew. He's a passionate guy with lots of hobbies, and he's a great dog owner. And Mark is the kind of guy who will step up when you really need him and help you shave your back. And not only will he do it, but while he does it, he won't even make those terrible faces like your ex-girlfriend used to make. But most importantly, Mark is a loyal friend and a confidant to all of us here. Mark and I met in the 90s. Back then, the Dakotases were just popping them out left and right apparently. And I would say that we grew up with a pretty normal brotherly rivalry. And coming from a large family, there are some pros and cons. Sure, there are a lot of chores and shared responsibilities, and you may not always get the amount of attention that you want, unless you're Kira. But you laugh a lot, you learn from each other, and you learn to be there for each other. And some of those principles, I believe, have helped Mark have success in the different realms of his life, his friendships, his relationships, and even his career. So some quick fun facts, I'm not going to be long, some quick fun facts about Mark. Being the youngest of 5, as you can imagine, growing up, Mark was constantly wearing hand-me-downs from his older brothers. In fact, if you came across Mark in the 90s, you'd probably find him wearing one of Dan or Chris's old t-shirts from a sports team that they had played on. He never wore my old shirts, of course, because those were reserved to dry off the boat after we washed them. Yeah, as the baby, Mark is known in our family as the king of hand-me-downs. In fact, this is the first weekend he's actually wearing his own clothes. So please compliment him when you see him. So for his whole life, Mark has been an athlete. Growing up, he was an all-star player in soccer, basketball, and baseball. He played intramural fast pitch in college and even dabbles in intramural soccer to this day. And by dabbles, of course, I mean falls down and screws up his shoulder for months. Any intramural sport is basically just people falling down after work. But Mark pulled me aside recently and he admitted something to me about his athletic career. He said in his entire life, in stickball or in baseball, he's never actually hit a home run. Out of the park. You can quantify it however you want. And although that's a little pathetic and a lot true, Mark still made the All-Star team every year because he was a hard worker and he was a great team player.
And his dad was the coach.
Yeah. Mark is also super competitive, as you all know. It only takes one session of Super Smash Brothers to figure this out. And as one of his older brothers, I'd like to take some credit for fostering that competitiveness in Mark. You see, growing up, I could get Mark to basically do anything for me as long as I turned it into a game and I told him I was going to time him. So Mark, go in the other room and get me the snacks and run back here as quickly as you can. I'll time you. Mark, go get me the sandwiches and get back here. I'll time you. He was setting records all throughout the 90s. And I was there for all of them. But I believe that being raised amongst the pressures of a large family have helped shape Mark into the incredible man he's become. A doctor who helps people. And then clocks out at 5:30 and falls down and hurts himself. But seriously, Mark is a caring guy. He does for others, and he's the kind of guy that you want with you in your zombie apocalypse group. But of course, this whole weekend is not just about Mark. It's also about the love of his life, Megan. Megan, from the moment we met you, we knew you were a keeper. I particularly have always liked you because you always laugh at my dumb jokes, even when Mark shakes his head like now and calls me an idiot. Now, your attitude towards the Lord of the Rings is a little bit lacking, so we will have to work on that. But you're beautiful inside and out. You're kind and compassionate, and I'm happy to call you my sister-in-law. So good luck explaining to everybody why Dakotas has 2 eyes in it for the rest of the day. I told Mark it was easier to go with Lander, but he didn't listen to me. So anyway, Megan, congrats and welcome to the family. And Mark, congrats on finally hitting your first home run.